Good morning. Good morning. Hello and welcome. I see some people trickling on in here. Thank you guys so much for joining. Happy Friday, TGIF. Good morning. Hi, Valerie. Um, so excited to be here with you guys. Thank you guys for taking time. I know beginning of the year is always such a rush for us. We just got back from a leadership retreat this past week, our own personal team at Lemon Seed, just making sure that we are implementing the goals that we've kind of set in Q4 for Q1, like making sure we have a good game plan for that, make sure that we have action items, who's going to do what and stuff. So it's been a busy year. And then our Lemon Seed conference is T minus 8 days away, I think, 8 or 9. And so we are preparing for that. So I know it's a super busy time for everyone, but I'm very thankful for everyone being here today. So if you don't know me, I know we have some familiar faces registered in here, but I also saw some that I wasn't familiar with. And so welcome. My name is Emily Flanagan, and I'm a partner here at Lemon Seed. I kind of oversee the creative department, and we have a great balance here of strategy and branding that we have going on here. And so Lemon Seed is a strategy and branding agency. We specialize and focus on the home service industry. We like to help companies create or refresh a brand and then help them continue that on, because branding is not, it's not a one and done check, got it, don't ever have to address it again. It is an ongoing continuation, the foundation of your marketing plan. And some of the things we're going to talk about today is how do we pivot that? How do we stay relevant? How do we, what got us there isn't going to always get us here, and how are we always evolving and changing to stay relevant in our market? And so that's what Lemon Seed is designed to do, to help contractors get and develop a solid brand and continue that out throughout their entire marketing strategy for years and years to come. So thank you all so much for joining. I'm excited for this. And so, we titled this session Dare to Brand, okay, and the truth about staying relevant in 2025. So I'm curious, I've got a little poll that's going to go up here. Back in the day, I think everyone's probably played Truth or Dare. Maybe you don't play it as often nowadays in your grown up adult life, but I'm sure as a kid, everyone played Truth or Dare. So I'm curious, in the poll that's going to pop up here, were you more likely than not, you were always going to be a truth picker, or were you a dare picker? I'm curious. Oh, the dares are coming in fast. Okay. Truth, they're a little bit more cautious. They're coming in a little bit more slowly. Okay. Yeah. Now truths are taking over a little bit more. Okay. Here's a few dares. We'll see where we end up. Um, I personally was more of a truther. Okay. I'm a pretty open book. Okay. I don't, it's very hard for me to lie. Okay. So truth was a lot more easy, and dares, it was always something disgusting. Okay. Like, I dare you to drink this jar of pickle juice that I soaked my foot in for an hour. Okay. Like, no, thank you. I'm not about that. My husband, on the other hand, he's totally a daredevil. Like, he was at a wedding one time and they had goldfish as the centerpieces, and someone dared him to eat the goldfish and he did. I'm like, that is terrible. Okay. Um, but I naturally kind of leaned more of a truth in the truth game of truth or dare. And I see the polls here. We're about 64% truth. Okay. Okay. But in reality, daring is also very beneficial. It's important to tell the truth and to be open and honest. But in life and in business, you do have to. And I see the chat here. It was a real goldfish, like a live swimming goldfish that he swallowed. There you go. Um, but in reality, you do have to be a little daring in life, especially as business owners or business leaders, managers. You got to take some risk, and you got to dare to do that. And one thing that's not one, there's three things in life that are always inevitable, that are guaranteed in life: death, taxes, and change. Okay, change is coming, but we got to dare to embrace that change and to dare to think beyond just what got us here for the future. Some of my favorite examples of that are Amazon and Netflix. Who would have ever thought, back in the day when we were playing Truth or Dare as teenagers and kids, what was the highlight of a Friday night sleepover? It was going to Blockbuster. Okay. That was part of the fun and the experience, was going to Blockbuster, walking up and down the aisles. Who would have ever thought that that would not be a thing? But now Blockbuster is not a thing. And what is the convenience of Netflix, and how Netflix changed from being a mail directory, ordering it online, waiting 3 days to get it in the mail. But then, like, you'd be so excited when it came up. but how Netflix has changed and pivoted. And so that's a great example of how you have to dare to do something bold. Like, who had ever thought of internet streaming TV services or movies on demand, things like that? But daring to take that risk, the investment they made, and how that's paid off. And so we're going to go through that a little bit today here in my presentation. Let me get this started for us. So truth or dare, we kind of played that poll. I think I saw the poll, the truthers were winning more. But we are going to challenge ourselves to dare to be bold so that you can be memorable, so that you will grow. So if we dare to be bold, we will be memorable by doing something different, doing something unexpected. And that is how we will grow. And that's how we're going to talk through and walk through some of these scenarios here. So truth number one, they don't care about you. I know how rude. That is so rude. Like, we are just starting this webinar and you're already telling me that they don't care about me. I'm so sorry. But the truth is, they don't care about a heating and air conditioning company. Okay. 99% of the time, am I ever thinking about the air that is coming through my vents or the water that is flowing through the faucet, the electricity in the walls? I do not think about it. We are so accustomed that we have this luxury that it's just on and it's there and it works. We don't ever pay attention to it until it doesn't, until it's not working, until the air is really hot, or if there's water all over the floor all of a sudden, if some pipe burst, or if, heaven forbid, the electrical panel is sparking or something even worse. That is pretty much the only time we're going to think about it. And so they don't have a reason. Your consumers don't have a reason to um, care about your company as much. I know, as terrible as that sounds, it's the truth. And when we are constantly like living up in it, like when that is the job that we go to every single day, and that is all the numbers that we're looking at, and that is all the circles that we surround ourselves in these best practice groups and on these webinars to learn from each other, things like that. I know we kind of live up in that world, but the average consumer is not always thinking or caring about or paying attention to a home service industry. So one thing, I'll share an example right now. I'm highly paying attention to my car right now. Okay. I bought my car 2 years ago. It was a brand new car. Did not pay attention to the motor to it at all. I had 100% confidence when I sit in this car, I'm going to turn the key on and it's going to start. And I don't think about it. I don't think twice about driving, to my parents' house 4 hours away in my car. It's not an issue. Well, guess what? 2 years later, now I am highly aware because my car's been having problems. It has been acting up. It spent the entire week of Christmas in the shop. I had it for 3 days, and then it's been another entire week back in the shop. Like, so I'm highly attuned and paying attention to my car and every little sputter or things that it has. I'm highly upset about it too. Okay. Like, this new car should not be having these problems that it is having. But all of a sudden, where I had never really paid attention to my car, only if it started dinging and flashing at me that I had to put more gas in it. That's about the only time I really paid attention to anything of it. I'm now highly aware and attuned to it. And so I'm also kind of starting to keep my eye on when I see offers for new cars, or kind of starting to think about that. I'm kind of gearing myself up to, like, okay, what is the down payment going to be like? I'm already starting to make some of these preparations because I'm having to start to pay attention to it. But that didn't start until I had a problem, until I had an actual need. Okay. And same thing with home service companies. Until they have an actual need, they're not really paying attention to you. And they don't need you every 8, 10, 12 years, okay? Because 99% of the time, things are going as they should be going. But that's the challenge of us daring to brand, of us doing something memorable. How do we stand out in their mind so that whenever that they do have that time and need service, whenever it is 5 years, 10 years later, whatever it might be, that they do need you for a new HVAC system, they do need you for a repiping, for a rewiring, something, a big job. We want to be the first one that they think of. And that doesn't immediately happen like that. That is from your marathon strategy of investing into your brand, being memorable, being sticky, being consistent, and laying and playing in their brand. So when it does come for that time, you're not duking it out with every other person on a PPC ad and hoping that, like, they're just searching for the service. They need somebody. They don't know who. They just need HVAC repair near me, heating repair near me. When they're searching that, you better hope, if you don't have a solid brand, if they're not searching for your name directly, you're duking it out and beating it up against every other competitor that you have. And so when you invest in a brand and can tell a real story, when you've done those little inferences and laying in their head, they're going to search for you directly versus having to duke it out with everyone else. And so that is some of the importance of why you have to um, invest in your brand. The good news is you do sell a necessity, okay? We live here in the great United States of America. Heating and air conditioning is a necessity for, especially if you're where I am in Texas, okay? Like it is a true life or death situation when we do not have air conditioning in the summer. Same thing with electricity and plumbing. We do sell a necessity. Okay, it is a need. It's not a luxury. It is a luxury in third world country. We do live a very luxurious life, but it is a necessity to us here as Americans. But it's not fun money to spend. Okay, it's not. To be honest, people are probably going to kind of dread if they have to invest in your services. Okay, and it's not sexy. It's not fun, and it's probably deterring me away from spending some of that I wanted to spend money on. Like, if I just had to invest 5 or 10 grand in a new system or new upgrades, repairs, I'm like, oh, I'd have much rather done that on a vacation or towards a new car or something like that. Like that is a lot more fun, and this is taken away from it. However, we do have the tremendous opportunity to win these people, really make it an experience, make it this was a terrible situation that your air went out. You were super uncomfortable, but we were able to turn this into something positive. We got your system running a lot more efficiently. It's going to be able to reduce down your energy bills. We got it a lot quieter of a system, so you're going to be a lot more comfortable in your home. Like we can turn these situations, these positives, into a real experience. And when we can do that, when we can create a brand, when we can create a real experience, that will transcend all the other things that we think can be objections. So a lot of times people say like, well, I don't want a brand because I'm going to look so expensive, and I'm going to look like I'm the highest person out there. Well, you know what? I don't know anybody here, and we don't work with anyone at Lemon Seed that is racing to be the cheapest person. We're not racing down to the bottom here, okay? It is no one's goal or very few people's goal in their business to be the cheapest price possible, okay? We are looking to provide more of an experience. And so that's where when you can provide that, there's more to decipher and to discern for in your mind than just the cost. Okay, my family and I just got back from a Disney cruise last week. And it was fantastic. It was phenomenal. Disney puts on the best experience. They pay attention to the details. I mean, I could do a whole branding webinar about Disney. Okay, like it gets you excited. Disney was not the cheapest cruise. Were there other cruises that we could have taken our kids on that would have been cheaper? Yes. Okay. Like that's probably not a surprise to anybody. But price wasn't the only factor because it was like, well, but like they did this and they had all the characters and their server followed us around and he's with us every single night where he had the drinks on our table already before we even got there because he knew what we wanted. Um, then they put the ketchup on my kids' plate. They put it in the Mickey Mouse ears. My kids loved the pool. Are there pools on other cruise ship lines? Yes. Would they have loved those pools? Yes. But all these extra details, it didn't come down to just price at that point where I was like, better go with that cheaper one. No, we're paying for the experience, for the environment, for the service and the level that we felt like. And so that's when we can create these experiences. People will also pay for that as well too. So earning their business, getting them, that is the hardest part. Okay, because we pay so much attention to our experience, how we answer the phone, the quality of the work that we provide. I think a lot of us have that down, but it's getting them that's the hardest part. So earning their business, that first time customer encounter is the hardest part. And that's why it is so important to brand. That's why we do have to be so memorable so that we can catch their attention so that we only get one shot every few years or so to do these big rebrands. That's the hardest part. But having a memorable, disruptive brand is the most inexpensive way to get new customers. Okay, so that you're not duking it out on PPC ads for them, so that you're not duking it out on all these immediate leads. You've invested in the branding side so that they start to know you. When they know you, when they know your name, they know your company, they see you everywhere. We want that to happen. Then that compounds over itself. Okay, and that it's an investment up front, but it pays off in the long run. And so while I know people say, especially if you're starting to look and starting to pay attention to like maybe some rebranding packages, or you're starting to price out what is it going to take to reroute my vehicles, and so you're going to be like, this is the most expensive thing we've ever done. And it might be maybe at a chunk of time, but I promise you it is the most inexpensive thing you can do over the course of many, many years, and it will pay off for you in the long run. Branding is not it's not a silver bullet. It's not a this and we're done. It is a marathon approach, and it is a marathon strategy that we will get there. So you've got to give a reason for people to care about you, okay? Before they need you, before the actual service, okay, before their actual system breaks. What is going to be that reason of why they should care about you? Not the service, not just HVAC repair, not just plumbing repair, not that. Okay, I need them to care about you, the company, before they reach that time of need. So, who remembers this Coors Light? Does anyone have any reference to when this Angels baseball player? I'm going to try. I'm sorry, I don't follow baseball a lot, but I had become highly aware of this situation because Coors Light was so clever and nimble to be able to act on this. So this Angels baseball player is like one of the best baseball players I hear in the league right now. He's from Japan, one of the highest played players, and he hit a foul ball and it hit the digital screen that displays the ads like in the stands. He hit a foul ball and it knocked out the light panel there on Coors Light. Well, that could have been seen as a flaw. Like Coors Light could have just gotten so mad at the MLB, like, you better get that panel fixed immediately. Like, I'm not paying for that. You're interfering on my logo. Like, I'm not paying for that. Well, in reality, they were nimble and bold enough to embrace that. So they released these cans that had the black square actually printed on them. They put that on their actual billboards. Like, they're embracing this. Like, I saw in the next game, they had on all the panels in the entire stadium. They added that black square to make it look like that. Well, it got such a play off of this player that they didn't even have to like endorse or pay him or anything. But they added this. And so I saw where these cans were going on eBay, these limited edition special release cans that have the black box on there, were selling on eBay for like $7,000 for one can of this crappy beer. Okay. Like, who's really a Coors Light fan? But it was so memorable. And then Coors Light had never been to Japan. Well, all of a sudden, because it had been done by this baseball player, they were asking for Coors Light. Can this be in Japan? Can this be in Japan? And that went as like I saw the number one seller. They had never been in that market, the Japanese market, but were exceeding all other beer sales. And Coors Light is not even the official MLB sponsor, the official beer of the MLB. Like, it was Budweiser, I think, but like the Coors Light sales were skyrocketing over that. And so that's where it took being a little daring, being a little bold to like, hey, let's embrace this, to where they saw some great result from it. And I think this kind of sparked them to do something creative. So has anyone been paying attention? Anyone seen what Coors Light did this week? Okay, because it's caused some buzz, like in the marketing world of hot topics and things like that. So this week, in Times Square, they released this ad: Mountain Cold Refreshment. Refreshment, okay? Probably was meant to be refreshment, but it's refreshment. And so people were going at them. They also had their ad in the New York Times. Like, people were like, "Oh my gosh, how could this have passed through so many eyes? How could they not have a copy, a proofreader? This is the problem with AI. AI generated this ad and it's misspelled, it's mistyped up. Oh my gosh," they were making a big stink. The people that don't really know marketing. When in reality, some of us are like, they're daring to be bold. They're daring to be intentional. They're daring to get memorable and get noticed here. That was 100% intentional. Okay. So they're kind of letting all the bad press come, the negativity of it. They're letting all that come through. And so they kind of release on their social media. Sorry, we had a case of the Mondays. This morning, we released a series of ads in which we misspelled the word refreshment. Thanks everyone for letting us know it. We're hearing it. People are telling. I know we misspelled it. Thank you. Thanks for letting us know about the errors. Mondays, am I right? So they're totally embracing this, okay? They got a case of the Mondays. Well, guess what they just released that they're going to do for the Mondayest of all Mondays, for the Monday after the Super Bowl, okay? Everyone has maybe had a little bit, it's the Mondays of all Mondays. They're going to have a case of the Mondays, okay? I can only predict how much this limited edition, this special release of these Mondays Light, a case of the Mondays, is going to go for. They kind of got a little taste of it with the hit the mark, the blackout spot on there, but now they're going to do a whole like, they're daring to be bold to embrace this. They paid millions of dollars for these Times Square placement ads for in the New York Times to have a typo, to have a misspelling, but they're banking on, they're daring to be bold and daring to be memorable. And so that's just an example of how when you will dare to do something that way, it will pay off. It'll be memorable. And these things compound upon each other. Okay. It makes me have kind of a whole new respect for Coors Light. Don't even like the beer, not even going to really probably drink it, but I do have a whole new respect and I'm paying attention to them. Who knows? Maybe one day I actually will try it, but it is giving me a whole new respect for them and it is memorable and it's sticking with me. And I can appreciate that and value that about the company. So truth number one is they don't care about you, okay? But you've got to create a reason for them to care, okay? Dare to get noticed and to be remembered so that they can start to care about you, so that they can remember you. Kind of before this whole little marketing, I had not cared or given two thoughts about Coors Light, but now they're kind of on my radar again. And I know that can seem like as an extreme of, well, that's not HVAC, that's not plumbing, that's not the same thing. I get it, it's not. But when you can take these principles of how when you dare to do something bold and memorable, they will start to notice and start to care about you. Truth number two, branding is not just your logo, okay? And I know a lot of you guys, when you're going to a branding agency, you're like, I need to get my new logo here. Got my new logo. It's beautiful. Check, done. Okay, no, that is a part of it. It is. And it is an important part. Believe me, I'm a graphic designer by trade. My degree and my background's in graphic design. I could say that and shout from the rooftop that it's all about the graphic design. It has to be the best. And it does. It has to be good, but it's not the only thing. Okay. And as much as I would love to make that claim to fame, it's not. Okay. And I can say that like graphic design is just a piece of it. And I could even venture to say a smallish piece to it. It is important and it does play a role. And there's ways that you can reiterate your brand through the style of the design, the way you do these things, but it's not just about your logo. And I think when people think about a brand, a lot of times they're thinking about just that. And I want to talk about how it's so much more. It is your visual identity, yes, of your logo. What do your vehicle wraps look like? What are your colors? How do you actually look and what is your perception there? But it's also about your story. What do people know about you? What are your core values? Why are you different than anyone else? It's about the language that you use. Are you super structured and rigid and want to seem the most professional? Are you kind of fun and whimsical and laid back and chill? There's different ways that you can word your language to tell your branding story, to tell and create an expectation of what it's going to be like working with your company, and your community interaction, how you respond to potential customers, how you present yourself, whether it's through community support things like going to a Christmas parade or sponsoring this thing, or how you respond to reviews on Google, on your social media. How do you do those things? How do you present yourself on social media? All those things are your brand that are living and breathing and kind of constantly always have to be paid attention to and modified. And it's so much more than just your logo. So let's talk about the visual identity a little bit. Here's two examples, two popcorns. Just by looking at these things, which one do I think is probably better tasty? Okay. It's probably a little bit more quality of an ingredient. Okay. It's probably going to be something I'm more proud. Like if I'm hosting a party at my house, and I'm going to put out some popcorn, which one do I think I'm probably going to put out? Okay. It's probably going to be the one on the left. Okay. Um, this shampoo right here. I just got my hair done, paid some extra money for some coloring to cover up some of these grays. Okay. Which shampoo do I think is going to support the color of my hair and it not wash out as quickly? That's going to help me when I'm styling my hair and have split ends. Like which one is going to protect my hair longer? Um, Probably the one on the left again. Okay. What about these paint colors? These gallons of paint. Which one do I think is going to cover my wall better? That I can probably do it in fewer coats. Um, I'm guessing it's the one on the right. Okay, I don't know, but just by looking at it. Same thing with this coffee. Which one I think is probably more of a quality product? Which one's probably going to taste better? Maybe have a more rich and intense flavor. The one on the right. And we've kind of all come to an agreement here. I can see a little bit in the chat here of some comments, and I like doing this thing live because I can literally see on the faces of the people where everyone comes to the same conclusions. And how is that? Not a single one of us on here have done this exact taste test between this popcorn and this popcorn, or we haven't looked at the exact flipped it over and read the ingredients. We haven't gotten our paint sample of this paint can versus this paint can, which one covers best. But we're already making these inferences in our mind, and we're somehow able to all come to pretty much the same conclusion on these things, just by based on their visual identity, just based on how they present themselves. And again, you might be like, fine, cool, I don't care about coffee, but I'm an HVAC company. Well, in reality, customers are able to do the same thing with the visual identity of your company. So, which of these two air conditioning companies, if I know nothing else about them, if I haven't gone to their website, if I haven't read their Google reviews, if I haven't done my due diligence and all the research and things like, which one do I think is probably a little bit more innovative? Which one is probably going to offer me more state of the art equipment to where probably has more up to date things? Like maybe it's, responsiveness systems and things like that. Like it's probably going to be the one on the right. Which one do I think is probably going to be around in like 10 more years? Like if I still need to honor my warranty, like, I don't know. The one on the bottom just looks more legit. Like they look like they're just more up and with it. I'm probably going to expect that they're going to like show up on time. I'm probably going to be able to like schedule online or schedule via text message. I'm probably going to be able to do a lot of things via mobile. I'm probably not going to have to call and wait a lot for them. I just have a lot more expectations, but I'm already making these inferences just based off their visual identity here. Okay. What about this one? Who do I think is probably going to be like more friendly to me? So, I'm a woman. My home, something is broken in my house. I'm going to phone in and make a call. I don't know all the terms to tell you exactly what is wrong with my system. Okay. I don't know. It's just broken. Okay. I just need someone to come out here who's probably going to be a little bit more friendly to me and walk me through this process and explain this process to me better and put it in terms that I can understand. Who's not going to treat me like I'm a dum dum when I take them to the thermostat when they ask where my system is, because that's happened before. Okay. Um, I can probably make these inferences that these people, Air Solutions on the bot, are probably very friendly and approachable. They're probably going to treat me like very respectfully and just with a kind manner. They're not so aggressive and in my face like kind of the one above. I don't know that. The people on the top could be totally kind and the best and the most friendly people, but like it's kind of aggressive right now. Okay. And I get it. It's hot and cold. It's fire and ice. It's red and blue. See it all the time, every day and night. See it. I'm like so over it. We got to dare to do something bold and different and to tell our story, to tell how we're different and how we're super friendly and approachable. Um, which of these two do I think is probably going to have, like, which of these two are you going to remember tomorrow? Okay. Probably going to stand out in your mind a little bit more, these bright teal and red colors, more so than the white with all the black and white coloring. If I were to see a billboard for both of these same companies, which one would I probably be able to make the inferences like, oh yeah, I saw one of their trucks yesterday, or if I got a direct mail piece in my mailbox today, which one am I probably be like, man, I see these everywhere when we're doing these bright, bold colors, these thematic elements. So innovative here, they kind of go with this baseball theme. They're the all stars of comfort. They have a whole, this pelican here is named Pete the Pelican because the owner's favorite baseball player was Pete Rose. And so Pelican Pete is here to help keep you comfortable. And they're the all stars of comfort. They're going to knock it out of the park for you every single time. By having these thematic elements, these bright, bold colors, I'm able to remember that and play it into so many more instances beyond just the truck wrap here. Okay. Breezing up here on the top, I don't know. There's nothing memorable about it. If I got a postcard that looked just like this, I don't know that I would have been able to make that same inference. Like, oh, yeah, I saw those guys yesterday driving around. I saw them in my neighborhood last week. There's not enough memorability there to really hang on to. Um, which one of these vans do I think I could probably see from a mile away? I see them coming down the highway. There's another LCS van, or there's another Humbleston town. I probably wouldn't ever recognize or that white van stick out to me. Okay. Daring to do something bold, to go with colors that are unexpected, to go just any color that's more than just a white, something else, you'll start to play into that and you'll start to be more memorable. Okay. So the visual identity, it does matter. Okay. You are already making inferences about the quality of the work that they're going to provide, about the timeliness of their service, about the price, the expectations. Are you still going to be around in 10 years? The whole validity of your company, we are able to make these inferences just as we did on the paint cans and the popcorn. Your customers are doing it about your company here with your visual identity. And so that part is super important. Your brain processes visuals 60,000 times faster than text. Okay. I get this all the time. Everyone knows us. People tell me that everyone knows us. We've been around for forever. Well, remember truth number one? They don't care about you. Okay. So while you may have been in business for 35 years, that is great. And I'm so proud of you that you've been in business that long. but not everyone knows you. Not everyone cares about you as much. They might know your name, or we've had this same font, this same logo for 35 years. Okay. But do you have some visuals that can complement? Because the visuals are going to relay and stay. And I can compute this a whole lot faster than I can by just reading a name. I tell customers, sometimes they tell me, like, I ain't doing a stupid character. Those are just corny. I don't want a cheesy little mascot. Got it. I hear you. I understand you. Okay. And mascots aren't for everybody. But you know what? How many times can I recognize someone's face before I remember their name? All the time. I see them at, Texas Roadhouse. Hey, girl, I recognize your face. I know I need to say hey to you. And like, I should be known, but I don't know your name. How often does that happen to you guys? Okay. Same thing with this. Okay. Again, they don't know you. They don't have a reason to pay attention to you, to know everything about you. They know, okay, I've seen a pelican in bright blue. Oh, yeah, innovative, innovative. Okay. But sometimes having that mascot or something super visual and identifiable can help them remember your name later. Like, oh yeah, that's them. When they're doing the Google search, if they don't remember your name, they're doing HVAC systems, HVAC repair near me, or plumbing repair near me. Oh yeah, those people. Yes, yes, yes. I know them. I've seen them. Okay. Sometimes it takes that second level, but playing into that visual identity will help them remember to you when you can pay attention to that and be so bold. So 90% of all the information transmitted in our brain is visual. And people are able to recall 80% of what they see versus 20% of what they read. So that is why, you're just a designer. You like to talk about the pretty things and fun. Yes, I do. Okay. But also there is science to it about why you should be paying attention to your visual identity, to all the visuals that you put out there. Okay. Um, Visual identity is part of your story. Okay. And I'm talking so much more than just the About Us page on your website. Okay. Why do people do business with you? Why should they? What makes you different? Why did you go into business? Everyone here has competitors, has someone else in their market doing the exact same service, if you will. But what makes you different? Why should they call you over them? Okay. What values do you have that I can align with? Okay. Is it timeliness? Is it the attention to detail? Is it the thoroughness? Is it the quickness? You're able to get to me a whole lot faster than everyone else. What is it? Is it a special cause that you support? Why should I care about you? Okay, that's ultimately what it comes down to. What in your story are you telling that tells me why I should care about you? Remember truth number one of how they don't care about you? We've got to tell our story about why they should. So here's an example of a kind of a brand refresh, I would like to say, of how we are helping to tell this story for this company, Smith Thompson. So Smith Thompson has a really cool story. And so I got to work with Ryan. He's a second generation owner on this. And his company got started. His dad started his company because it started off as a home security company. And his dad grew up in a small town. His grandfather was the local newspaper reporter. Everybody knew everybody. And hang on just a second. I got a weird message. Are we still going here? Yes, we are. Okay. Um, Sorry about that. His grandfather grew up in a small town with a local newspaper reporter. Well, his grandfather was killed in a drunk driving accident. And it was a big deal in that small town. Like everyone knew it and everyone was so sad. And, it was published in the paper about the time of the funeral and all that good stuff. And the whole town was there support. It was a tragic accident. While the family was at the funeral, someone broke into their home and burglarized it and stole a bunch of stuff, knowing that all the family was going to be gone and doing that. And it was a truly tragic and heartbreaking, like pouring salt on an open wound. But that was the cause that made them start there. This will never happen again. So we're going to create home security for other people so that they don't ever have to do this again too. And that's how their company Smith Thompson was started. They started with the home security. And so they had that great story and they built a very successful company doing that. And now that they're a few more years down the road, they're starting to add more services like the heating and cooling, HVAC. They're already in the home for home security. How can we further take care of these people, take care of their comfort? And so Ryan, he's like, our company has done great. We've done a lot with the home security. But he's like, once my son was born, he's like, I have a whole newfound respect for kids and the support that they need. And so with our HVAC division, we want to donate 50% of our profits to kids in need. And we spend some time like, is that, educational? Like we're going to support the schools in this way or literacy programs or whatever? Or is this like children's healthcare? Is this childhood cancer, things like that? And we kind of narrowed it down to where ultimately they want to just help kids. But we had to tell that story. How do we tell that story? Well, we probably need to add a little character. How can we be super friendly? And so we developed this character. His name is Hank, named after Ryan's own son, Hank. And so little Hank here, and they donate 50% of all their profits to kids in need. We're telling this story. I hope one day they get Hank made into an actual physical mascot that can go to schools and present a big check presentation, and kids can be like, this kid, Hank, came to my school. They may not know the company name, they won't. But when they drive by this van, be like, Mom, that's the kid. That's who came to my school. That's who did it. When they get this piece in the direct mail, when they see this on the van, it's a lot more memorable. And we're giving them a reason of why they should care about us and pay attention to us. They may not need us just yet, but by doing some of these charitable causes, by telling a story, they are paying attention to us and they are caring about us more. Okay. We're giving them a reason to care about us because we care about kids. This is a rebrand we did for a company, Plumbing Outfitters. One thing that was super important to them is they had an arrowhead in their logo before, and they're like, we're just sentimental to this arrowhead. We want to be able to keep it in our branding. But they walk through like, okay, what is your process with the customer? What is your customer journey? And so they explained it to us about how they take extra time and attention to explain the process to people to help guide them and give them numerous options in their plumbing repairs or repiping, whatever it might be. They're like, we're really like their guide. Like that is our goal. Like we teach on how can we guide customers through their problems and to their solutions. And so that kind of sparked a thought in our mind, like, okay, this guide mentality. So we start diving into their personal story, and they live in the Austin, Texas area where there's a lot of hill country and rivers and things on there. Like we love to go camping. Our son is in the Boy Scouts. And so we kind of started developing around these badges. So you see here, we've earned our badges. Oops. And so we kind of made badges for leak repair, for drain clearing, for water heater. Like each of those are beds, like kind of like the national parks. Like how you can go and gather each of those different stickers until you've gone to all the national parks in the United States. We're kind of doing that off of that, and so it really played into their outdoorsiness and how they love being outdoor. They love camping. They love hiking. A lot of people in their area do. It's very localized and feel. And then how can we add a guy? They're like, we don't want to be too cheesy. We don't want to be too corny, but like we do want to do a lot more community events. We don't really want to add a character to our main logo, but we add this secondary character that's kind of secondary to their branding, this wayfinder wolf. So again, it's playing into that guide of how can we track down your plumbing problems and guide you to the right solution and be there with you every step of the way. We're all of a sudden telling a lot more of a story through our visual representation of these kind of earthy tones and these little badges and stuff that really have nothing to do with plumbing. Okay. Camping and plumbing really don't have anything to do with each other, but we're able to tell a story, tell their story, what's important to them, why you should choose Plumbing Outfitters. We're able to do that through their visualization, through their storytelling. Okay. It's also your core values. So these are our core values at Lemon Seed. At Lemon Seed, we will be zesty. Okay. We will be zealous for creativity, experts in strategy, servant minded advocates, thorough and timely, and we will be yielding results. And so we go over this with our team internally. Like on every Monday meeting, we're going through our core values because if they don't know it, how are they going to actually do it? How are they going to live this out? We've had shirts printed that have this on there. We have signs in our office that have this on there. We are reiterating this. And so your core values can't just be something that lives in your employee handbook, an internal document that's never anywhere. And while my customers may not be able to know, they probably don't know this acronym for Lemon Seed, but hopefully by the values that we exude, our clients relatively know this. Okay. So my client probably doesn't know the T of our core value, but they could tell a customer, like, yeah, Lemon Seed, they really pay attention to detail and they get me all my stuff pretty quickly. And I just love their creative ideas. They're always coming up with these ideas I would have never thought about. My client could probably tell you that because of our Z and because of our T, our zealous for creativity and our thorough and timely, while they may not articulate what our exact core values are, that is how we are living out our story. That is how we are living out our core values in the services that we provide. And so I want to challenge you guys. Is your core values, is that a part of your brand? Yes, it is. But are you being intentional to tell that and to show that and to display that? Do your employees know that? Can they articulate that? And is that resonating to your customers? Are they playing into this? Are they able to tell that brand story again so that they can care about you? They care about me being creative and having the best strategy in graphic design, and they care about me being thorough and timely. That is something that they value and appreciate. And Lemon Seed has those core values. That's a part of our story. And that's how we're able to provide that for people. You should have this same thing in your business, in your business model. How are your customers knowing about that? Because that's what they care about. That's what they value. And then in your language, okay, the way you word things on your website, the way you answer the phone, there's a lot of branding that can happen here. And so I'm going to read a few examples for you about three different airlines here, okay? don't come at me about which airlines we're picking here, but we got reason to talk about each of them. So first one, Spirit Airlines. Your bear fare doesn't include refreshments, even water, because it costs money to stock them and gas to carry them. We have snacks and drinks for sale if you need a little something. Okay. See a very relaxed language, even how you're using the word M, like apostrophe EM, a little something. Okay. We're not going to use something. We're using a little something. Okay. It gives a little bit more casualness, playfulness, whimsicalness to the thing. And they're telling you, we ain't giving you nothing. Okay. We're doing it in kind of a friendly, playful manner than say like no food or drinks. Okay. That's one way you can use language. American Airlines says our meals are healthy, delicious, and customized to your travel. Menus vary depending on when and where you are traveling. Okay, like neutral, got some snacks, healthy and delicious, got it. Emirates. On board, you can taste rich Bavarian pastries and savory treats. Tuck into soft pretzels sprinkled with rock salt, not salt, rock salt, and dipped into duck schmaltz, all while sipping on a refreshing stein of Paul Namer Oktoberfest beer. Okay. Guys, we're talking about snacks on an airline here. Okay. Every three one of these statements talks about snacks. Okay. Not that different. But the way they are using their language, the descriptive words, the style of writing, I'm getting branding in each one of these stories. Okay. I'm able to make inferences about the type of experience that I'm going to have, whether I read this on the website before I flew on any of these airlines. I'm already making assumptions and setting expectations of what I think interacting with this brand is going to be. Okay. And so hate them. Okay. I hate them. I hate Spirit Airlines. I'm not going to fly with them. Okay. I have before and never again. Okay. But I do appreciate that Spirit Airlines kind of owns what they offer. Okay. They're cheap with no extras. Okay. If you want to get from point A to point B and like probably not die, like you don't care about anything else, like I don't need a ton of bags. I'm just trying to get there. I'm just trying to get to point B. Spirit Airlines is probably an okay option for you. Okay. You will probably not die. Okay. But they own it. They embrace it. Okay. They are not trying to be an Emirates. Okay. They do not have the branding of that. So, like, here it literally, I took this off of their website. So, what exactly is Bear Fare? Our fares are unbundled, no free bag, no free drink. From the start, it's just your ass and gas on a personal item. Okay. Like, they are just open about it. Okay. It is what it is. They are owning their approach to branding. Is this everyone's cup of tea? No, it's not. It's not even my cup of tea, but that is somebody's cup of tea. That's like, I just want a cheap flight from point A to point B. Spirit Airlines meets that. Okay. Um, this is not the Disney cruise lines of cruise lines. It is a different one. Okay. But that is for someone else's cup of tea. So I appreciate in their language that they are owning, that they are telling the story, that they are telling their core values of how we want to be cheap with no extras, no frills. They are doing that through their language. Lemon seed with our interaction. So always be thinking about your interaction with your potential customers. You're probably going to always see us out in yellow. We like to be bright and fun. We like to be friendly. Like you're going to have a good time with lemon seed, but we're not trashy. You're going to always see us in yellow. We're probably going to have some type of corny swag item with us. We do funny little things on social media. So like this was one of our social media videos that got tens of thousands of views across different platforms. And so it's Crystal and I doing a performance evaluation of our operations manager, Andrea. And so it says, when you thought the performance review was an actual performance. And so Andrea is dancing, giving us her best performance. And so it's a silly little video. Okay. It has absolutely nothing to do with marketing or how you can increase your ROI or what you should do with AI or the latest digital trend. This has nothing to do with it. But you know what it does have is a playfulness and a creativity that is a core value of Lemon Seed and that is a representation of what we think some customers are looking for. So when we do these silly little things on social media, it is memorable. People do come up to me and tell me all the time about Andrea's fantastic dance moves. Because she did such a good job at us and our facial expressions. I saw someone comment about my eyebrow. Okay, like I did a little. What is happening here? Um, but that's part of our brand. That is our interaction. That is the story that we are telling and how we can play into that. And so all of these things play into your brand. It is not just your logo. And so while probably a lot of you can get, okay, I get it. It's not just my logo. You got to dare to implement it comprehensively. Dare to change the wording on your website. Dare to change the way you answer the phone. Dare to do something different on social media, out in your community. When you can implement it comprehensively across all these things beyond just your printed brand guide and your truck wrap, that's when your brand will really start to come to life and people can really start to care about it. Okay. Truth number three, great branding requires consistency. Okay. Guess what? Good news. This is probably not a surprise to you. Okay. I think we can probably all agree every good thing requires consistency. If you want to lose weight, you can't just eat one good meal and exercise one time. It's small little habits consistently over time. If you want to save money, it's saying no to that Starbucks drink $6 at a time, little by little by little, and not making some purchases. If you want to, invest in employee training, it's small little trainings. It's not one crash course and they know everything. It's a constant iteration. Consistency over time will always help you, and it compounds over time. However, I want to say consistency is usually my biggest when people push back on me of like, I can't rebrand, I can't update my brand, I can't do anything because of I gotta stay consistent. I know that. We've had this logo since 1982. Got it. Okay. But what I want to challenge you guys is yes, consistency is important, and you should have a brand guide of your exact color of yellow, your exact color of red or pink. It's not just a red, it is the innovative air red. It's not just a blue, it's not just a teal. Tiffany blue, a color just came to your mind and it is the exact same color. It's not just a blue, it is the Tiffany blue. And so there is importance to having rules and structure to your brand. However, do not confuse consistency with a refusal to change. Okay. You know how we talked about Netflix? This is our core value. This is what we do. We are consistent in this. Do not let that be a downfall for why you cannot change. Okay. That is a biggest hindrance that I see a lot of contractors have. This is Babe Ruth. Yesterday's home runs won't win tomorrow's games. So what got you there is not going to get you here. Okay. The home run that he hit yesterday is not going to win tomorrow's game. But you know what will win tomorrow's game? All the practice and the consistency and the batting practice that he did and all the balls that he pitched and all the balls that he hit and all the grounders, everything that he practiced, all those consistent little things, that's what's going to win out and win tomorrow's ball game. Who remembers the Maytag man? Okay. Anybody? This was a great campaign back in the day. What was the premise here? Ernest, I see you raised your hand. What was the premise here? The Maytag man. He was bored. The repairman, he didn't have anything to do all day long because their equipment was so dependable. It never broke down. And like that's such a clever way to say we have the best equipment, the long lasting equipment. Such a creative way to do that. The Maytag, he was always looking to get back home so he could go eat pie that his wife made. Okay, super endearing. I was talking to a customer about like we want a very retro, all Americana feel, like Maytag man. Like they're using Maytag man as a descriptor. Okay, fantastic campaign. But you know what? That could be an argument of like, oh, it's so great. Everyone knows it. We got to keep it. We got to keep it consistent, keep it going on. But you know what? Like, that's not really today's time anymore. Like, that's not really relevant anymore. Like, who around here is sitting around? I'm just so bored. No, my husband is not waiting for to come home for the little cherry baked pie that I make. No, we are both running and blowing and going, juggling, picking up kids, getting them to their different things. Call my mother-in-law, can she step in for us? That's just the life we lead. That's the life that everyone nowadays leads. Okay, and so in reality, we need help. Okay, they kind of reinvented the Maytag man to where Maytag man here is here to help you. He is doing the laundry for you. He is going to clean it as best as he possibly can so that you don't have to wash it twice because we know you don't have the time to wash clothes twice. Okay. Old Maytag man, he wasn't very helpful to it because you never needed him. But now what we need nowadays, we need help. Okay. Maytag man, he is going to hold and cook my dishes, the dishes that I'm making for me. He's going to have two different racks, two different trays. That's what's important to me nowadays. I need to be able to cook two dishes because I don't have all time all day to be able to do this multiple times. He's helping me do these things. That's what I need nowadays. That is what is more relevant to me. He is holding all the groceries. It's not me juggling it, doing it, these things. And so while you could have said like, we can't change the Maytag man, they didn't. They did change Maytag Man, but they kept it in a just refreshed, a relevant way to today's world. Okay, this is how Maytag kind of reinvented themselves to stay relevant versus what they would have done in the '70s. That's not relevant to us anymore. Okay, and as good and as great as that was, how the Maytag Man is an adjective that people use and know and can reference. They still were innovative and modern and daring enough to change it to make themselves still relevant to their consumers today. Companies all across the world have updated their logos. Okay, you can see the progression of Nike, you can see the progression of Google. People tell me all the time, I don't have it's just a font. Okay, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing to update. Well, like, I can look at these Google logos and tell which of these is more updated? Which of these feels more modern and relevant? Which of these feels like more of today's world? And don't be so afraid to not change some things. Like look at Dunkin' Donuts, how they were Dunkin' Donuts and they made these small changes over time. And then, they wanted to become known for their coffee. So then like they added a coffee cup to their logo. Well, like eventually they dropped the word donuts because you think they sell donuts and that's it. When in reality, Dunkin' wants to be known as your breakfast stop. So yeah, you can get a donut, but like you're also going to get a coffee or a breakfast croissant or whatever. America runs on Dunkin'. And so they had to be innovative enough to know that, like, hey, the word donuts in our name might be limiting to us. Okay. Does someone not want to eat a donut, but they need a cup of coffee? We want to be those people. We might have been ruling ourselves out for that because we had donuts in our name. So they were innovative enough to know how to drop it and to where I can still tell this is the same company, but it's positioning themselves to be something different and to be more innovative with it to where they can expand their services and do more. FedEx, they were known as Federal Express, but it kind of became common nomenclature where people shortened the name to FedEx. Well, they embraced that and they've shortened it to where they're no longer Federal Express. So you have to be innovative and willing to change enough and not be so gung ho on, well, consistency. You told me consistency. I can't change anything. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. Yes, you do have to be consistent, but you also have to be willing to change. Okay. This is Infinity Texas Air. This is a kind of brand refresh that we did for a client here in Texas, and you can see the before logo there. So they had the red and the blue, they had the infinity symbol, they had the flame, kind of a lot going on there, a lot of gradients, a lot of drop shadows, shadings, all the things, kind of very busy. Okay, but our goal is how can we make this more clean? Still looks like the same people, but how can we enhance this and make it more relevant to today? Okay, they look like they're going to offer you the top notch equipment. They're going to offer the top notch services. We helped them involve a character, but in a very like classy and modern way. So they had a dog, Duke, he was the office manager, okay? And unfortunately, Duke did pass away, but we kind of created this silhouetted version and we kind of renamed our maintenance club to be Duke's Legacy Club. Like, hey, are you a member of Duke's Legacy Club? By giving it a name and an identity, it makes it so much easier to actually talk about. And it pays on like Duke, who's Duke? Well, Duke's our dog, and it gives a playful story, a relevancy that people can relate to. Like, I love my dog. The word legacy kind of goes with the word infinity. Like it makes sense. We developed a cause for pause. Again, for every maintenance club that they sell, they donate $5 to their local humane society. They're playing into that brand story, the things that they care about, the animals, things like that. And then on the back of their truck, we actually we printed that on their wrap to where it looks like the window is rolled down and the Black Lab Duke is hanging out the window. And so that's actually printed like that. And so they get so many phone calls from that by daring to do something a little bit memorable, by daring to do something bold. It sticks and it resonates in people's mind. And you can still have a super clean, super professional, and memorable brand. Okay. Sometimes I think people think, well, no one else is doing it. So, like, because that'd be a terrible idea because no one else is doing that. So that can't be right. Get away from that. To be a risk taker, dare to do something different, to stand out and be memorable so that you can disrupt and be different and stand out from everyone else. So be consistent, but don't be stifled. Okay. Yes, it is important to have your right brand colors, your right brand fonts. Be consistent, and that will build over time, but don't be stifled. Okay. You do need to make small changes and edits as the times change and progress, as you change your services, as the way of the land shifts and stuff. Don't be stifled. Don't be so stuck in 1980, in 1990, in 2000, even 20 years ago with what you started with that you can't change or update anything. Okay. We all know someone that's had the same hairstyle since 1980. And you already kind of just give them a little bit less validity to what they're trying to say just because they seem so outdated. You don't seem like you know that you could coach me on how to run a business today in 2025. You don't seem like because you still got a 1980s haircut. Okay. Yes, that was the best. It probably complemented your face shape the best back in 1980. But you've got to don't be so stifled to change things a little bit. Your outfit, your clothes. Same thing with your brand. Okay, people, don't let consistency be your excuse to be stifled. And the truth. Truth number 4, great branding requires investment. Okay, and you're like, here we go. Here's the sales pitch. I'm ready. I've been waiting for it this whole time. Here it is. That's not what I'm talking about. Yes, an investment, it will require time, it will require energy, and it will require money. Okay. Time, this is a marathon strategy. We've already talked about that. It's not going to be an overnight thing and not an implement thing. And energy, rebranding or updating your brand, it is an energy investment. I see this all the time. So many people have an emotional tie to their brand. That's how it started. Would it be disrespectful to their parents who started the company to change things? I have this embroidered on every single shirt in my closet. I just love this logo. And in reality, you probably don't love the logo so much, but you love the company that logo represents. And so a lot of energy is going to go into updating this, and it's an emotional process for a lot of people. A lot of people are going to involve a lot of people to help them make decisions for their brand. And that makes me want to go like stab this pin in my eyeball, okay? Because committees will kill a great idea. Committees will kill any dares or risks because that is their job, is to play it safe. How can we avoid the most risk? How can we play it safe? So when you're asking 38 different people, and I'm going to survey people in my office, I'm going to survey my neighbors. Oh, okay, they are never going to dare you to do something bold so that you can be disruptive, so that you can be memorable, so that you can stand out. Committees by nature are good idea killers because it is their job to play it safe. They will never tell you to dare or to take a risk. And so what I want to encourage you is when you're doing your investment of your energy, make sure that you're including the right people to help you make a decisions. Trust the experts that you're working with and have a few core people that you can bounce ideas off of. But do not go ask everybody in your office. Do not go ask every single person that you know. They do not have the big vision. They do not have the expertise to tell you about why it's so important to dare and to be bold and to branch off to something different. And you do have a money investment in it. Do it right the right way. It will cost you money to redo some of these things, to rewrap a truck, to get an apparel. I could go on a whole other section about how I do not think rewrapping your vehicles is the most expensive thing. People tell me that I can't afford to rewrap all my vehicles. I'm not going to rebrand because I don't want to rewrap all my vehicles. I promise you, your wrap is one of the most least expensive pieces of your branding and of your marketing play. A wrap costs, let's just say for rough numbers, it costs $4,800. I think for most of you, that's probably a little bit on the high side, but it's going to last you probably 4 years before you need to rewrap it, 3 to 4 years. That's $100 a month. What other marketing and branding thing are you doing for $100 a month? Nothing. You're not even getting a local yearbook ad at the local high school for $100 a month. Okay. And that will be people's biggest hangup of why they cannot update their brand is because they don't want to rewrap their trucks. Rewrap the trucks. It is one of the least and most impactful things that you can ever do. Okay. So you know the return on the investment when you invest in your employee training, when you invest on upgrading your tools and your equipment and your vehicles and having the right thing, when you invest in your team culture, you know how it increases the investment of employee satisfaction and employee turnover and better quality of work. You know those things, but I want you to also value the return on the investment if you will invest in your brand. Um, Real quick, I'll go through this. SBC, they were SBC Mechanical. They had that logo in the top left of the little arrow, red and blue. See it all the time for hot and cool air blowing. Got it. But they wanted to break into the residential market. And so they're like, an SBC should for Shreveport, Bossier City, like where they lived, what the common areas kind of just known across. So nothing unique about their name, even. And he's like, I really don't want to change my name. I can't change my name, but what else could we do with it? And so we kind of created service beyond compare. That's the SBC. We dropped mechanical. We added cooling and heating. We added this fun little B. We're going to really play up the B aspect here. And so this yellow and teal van is seen so much more than his white van with red and blue decals. Okay. We created this character, Bo the Bee. He is in LSU territory of Go Tigers, Geaux. We named him Bo, Beaux. Bo the Tiger. So it feels very, Bo the Bee, it feels very local. And to that community, everyone gets it. We named their comfort club, their maintenance club, the Hive Comfort Club. Okay. We had the Queen Bee level as the top tier level. We had Bo the Bee made into an actual physical mascot where Bo the Bee does social media videos. He's walking in the Christmas parade. He's handing out the community support things. He and when we were going through this rebrand with him, all this story is close to my heart because Trey, the owner, he said when all this stuff started coming in, when I started getting the new print collateral, when I got the final brand going, I got all the logo files, and when Bo came in, he's like, I all of a sudden had hope again for my company. He said, I'd lost all hope. Entrepreneurship, running a business is so hard. You can get so beat down. But this reinvigoration into his own company, he's like, all of a sudden I have hope again. His employees had hope again. There's new spark and invigoration in his community of like, man, what is going on at SBC? They got some good things going on. Man, they're starting to pay attention to you. They're starting to care. Okay. You're starting to remember and lay in their brain. You're living there rent free. So when they do need you, they know who to call. And so the truth is, it does require an investment of time, of energy, of money, but I want to dare you to put in the work. Okay. It's hard, it's not easy, but action, actually doing it, putting in the work, action reduces fear and it increases courage. This is from John Maxwell. Just doing the work, putting it in, it will reduce your fear. But oh my gosh, I'm doing this so risky. It is so scary. Oh my gosh, are we about to? I'm about to lose my company that I've had for 30 years because I'm changing my logo. I'm changing my vehicle. I'm about to lose. No, just putting it into place, you will feel less and less scared about it. Okay, it will increase your courage. It will increase your courage to dare to do something bold. Okay, so just doing it, action reduces fear and it increases courage. So, all the truths we talked about, the truth is they don't care about you. You've got to create a reason for them to care about you. It's not just your logo, it requires consistency and it requires investment. But with all those truths, I want to dare you to be memorable, dare to do something different and disruptive, dare to stand out, dare to lay in their mind. It will play out in the long game. Dare to implement it comprehensively in your language, in your storytelling, in your community interaction. Implement it all across. Think of all those elements. Don't make it just your logo. Do it whole picturely. Don't be stifled. Don't be leaning on that. Got to be consistent to where you're stifling yourself and you're not ever evolving and changing and growing with the times. And then I dare you to put in the work. It will pay off and it will be memorable and it will pay off for you guys. So I'm coming up here right on my hour. Thank you guys so much. If you're still hanging in there with me, I really appreciate it. If you want to know more about Lemon Seed and how Lemon Seed can help you and your brand, please just scan this QR code. If you also need a copy of this presentation or anything like if you're trying to take notes, I have that in that QR code. Just scan that. But we've got some people here in the chat that would love to help connect you if you are looking for any help with your brand and how you can implement that into your marketing strategy. Thank you guys so much for taking the time. I appreciate it. I hope you were able to find some value from this, and we will send out this recording afterwards too. So thank you so much. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend and go conquer the world in 2025. Thank you.